accusing Biden of wrongdoing, and they have on the front page that he wasn't accused of wrongdoing. They had no idea about the money laundering that I just laid out. You know, they could have found out about this money laundering by not being so lazy and looking at the tapes.
I will say this. You cannot ignore the double standards of the way Mr. Trump's opponents
it's not even a system
treat
of
the
justice.
president. Right. We just came off of all of this collusion nonsense for 2 years where we're talking about unidentified sources and the president colluded. And then we understand that it was absolutely a lot of nothing, which we expected
anyway. And this guy's story has changed now 3 times. And now it also turns out he's not a direct witness. I don't even know how he knows about it. He's got it all wrong. No money, no quid pro quo. According to the Ukrainians, no pressure. I mean,
so we know that Biden had this interaction in Ukraine. Then there's China. I want to ask you about this because the vice president did take Hunter Biden on Air Force 2 and then to China.
Well, let me figure out how the Democrats are going to get out of this one. So the vice president flies his son, the guy that's drug challenged. He flies him to China.
China, yep.
He negotiates
while he's on a trip to go meet
serious trip. He's trying to talk China out of the Sakhalin Islands.
That's what the vice president is why the vice president
as he did on every one of his diplomatic missions, including his one to Baghdad, where he couldn't get a status of forces agreement. He failed, like Gates says. He failed at every foreign policy mission he ever had. That's their Secretary of Defense, not mine. So he goes there. He's negotiating with the Chinese. He doesn't tell anybody that the kid is spending his time in the Bank of China. He fails in his negotiation with the Chinese. He blows it. Maybe he wanted the tank for him. I don't know. But he failed. But Joe fails at everything, so it's hard to say. 8 days later, there's a $1 billion check that goes into Hunter Biden's private equity fund. The private equity fund that I think made about 4 cents. And you know who the partners were?
What?
The son of the Vice President of the United States. The stepson of the Secretary of State of the United States, John Kerry. And Whitey Bulger's nephew.
Wow.
Tell me this isn't news.
And we know that Joe Biden initially, when Joe Biden first got on the scene.
I just said Whitey Bulger. You don't think that'd be on the front page of every newspaper if a Republican president?
But it's not.
Don't tell me they aren't phonies.
All of this does not smell right.
Well,
I agree with that.
Upset.
However,
I believe in
how are you
fairness.
going to get through and cut through all of the adversaries of this president that are putting it on the front page as if there was something improper there?
It takes some blood to do it.
Because remember when Joe Biden first ran for president, he said, China's fine.
Maria,
no problem with China.
Maria, that China thing happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They're finally. Now I have another question. What kind of ethics standards do they have in the Obama administration? Obama read this story about this kid who gets tossed out of the army for drugs, getting hired by the most crooked oligarch in Ukraine. Did Obama ever call Biden in and say, what's going on, Joe?
There's another issue, and I think
they check conflicts?
Devin Nunes brought this up yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures. Should we have a precedent that the president of the free world's private calls with other world leaders are open to the public scrutiny?
No, of course not.
That's another issue here.
Of course not. No, they shouldn't be open. But in any event, these